This is the AM News on the AM Show with me, Sweetie Abochie. Let's get into the details. Now, it was a bold declaration from a sitting Vice President and Chairman of the Economic Management Team, Dr Bawumia, to abolish a raft of taxes introduced by his government under his watch if elected president. Well, NPP minority in Parliament is set to test sincerity of his intention by presenting a private member's bill in the House to abolish the taxes. This, according to the minority leader, Dr Bawumia, is to test whether the Vice President can get his NPP side to back such a bill. He spoke on PM Express with Evans Mensah.
This Vice President, we all know, today, second in command in the President Akufo-Addo's government. Second in command. He acts as president when the president is out of the country. He is the leader of the NPP, the ruling party. If he so desires and want this bill, this tax removed, he should do it now.
He still hasn't
to prove to the people of Ghana that the leader of the NPP, the governing NPP party,
the party is not a government.
Oh, the leader, the governing NPP party.
The executive president takes.
Let me tell you.
The final decision.
Let me tell you.
He is not.
He cannot hoodwink the people of Ghana on the back of his stories. We've had enough. We've had enough of this. And in the coming days, I'll tell you what we are going to do. We will get someone, probably to bring a private member's bill to get these taxes removed and see if the MPP will support it.
Which of them? Let's list them. E-levy?
A number of the taxes, emission levy that we voted for, and some of the VAT, the betting tax and all of that. And so we should remove the tax on betting and allow the betting industry and find better ways. If you want to regulate it as such.
I'm curious about this announcement you've made about your plan to have the bills repealed.
Yes.
I mean, because it's currently law which is being implemented. Why now?
Okay, so the Vice President has signaled to us that they don't want these taxes. That's what he said. And we saw their MPs in favor of these taxes, in favor of the Vice President position. We had them. We saw some of them. So we want to test whether it is genuine. And so we'll bring the bill before Parliament and we'll get them to vote for or vote against it, and we'll see how it works.
But he says we'll do it next year.
Why next year? Let me tell you, Evans, the people of Ghana cannot wait and go through this kind of excruciating hardships. We are suffering. I come from a rural community. My constituents are struggling. They are going through difficult times on the back of some of these taxes. Remove the betting tax now. Remove the emission levy now. Remove the e-levy now. Now, e-levy, even if you send 50 Ghana cedis, they will deduct it. Even if you transfer money from your own wallet to another wallet of yours, they will deduct it. Contrary to what the law is saying, contrary to the MPP's own, promise to the people of Ghana. They should remove it now.
The Electricity Company of Ghana has attributed recent power cuts in the Ashanti region to what it terms the restoration of redundancies in the power distribution. Parts of the region have in the past few days experienced intermittent power outages, with some areas plunged into darkness for nearly 12 hours. The situation is adversely impacting some businesses and livelihoods. But the Ashanti South Business Unit of the ECG is assuring the country is not back to heavy load shedding. Nana Addo has more in the following report.
Since Friday, major parts of the Ashanti region, especially the regional capital, Kumasi, have been experiencing intermittent power cuts. The development over the weekend left some residents perturbed. Some residents who spoke to JoyNews expressed their worry about the intermittent power cuts and its impact on their businesses.
It has been worse. It has been worse for me, especially my work, because I do put my things in the fridge before I realize it will get spoiled. So the doing so is not easy for us these days, especially those who are selling the same choices. They are also suffering a lot. My fish, my sausage, my stew, and my vegetables, because the heat, they cannot contain it. Especially this month, it has been worse. The whole of this week, it's continuous. Even this pastor who is preaching over there, since last week, has not been able to preach because of light out. He will come and go back. He will be here about 5:30, then he will not be able to preach. He will pack his speakers and go out.
Basa na yejina basa because kana na area bibia. They say when in house na yedum light. And no say me say nka me yi matare meto.
The recent power cuts has been affecting my business. I could not even open my shop due to the power cuts yesterday. Government must do something about this.
Na we nti na me okaka no yedum say no say yedum membie na ohwe wa hanta me ntimi eduma no ntimi ntrase. Nti dum so de ha kakra.
93 days. Me ne me mani nyina sam fom e wa abontin entontomo wiyen. Omudum light 12 o'clock 93 days. Oma so amade a chenwe.
3 days ago, I slept without light. My children and I slept outside our house. The issue is worrying. We do not know why we have to sleep in darkness without any notice. Government must set up.
But
the Ashanti South ECG General Manager, Engineer Frederick Kwabena says the issues are internal and not from Gridco or their power generators.
But then again, we would also want to disabuse everybody's minds of the fact that these are not issues that are coming from either Gridco or any generational shortfall. These are internal ECG issues that are duly being responded to. You may not have received a statement from us, primarily because as engineers, we sometimes want to solve the problem first before we go out there talking, because it's our responsibility. Because in the heat of the moment, the main thing is that you have to restore power to your cherished customers or manage the situation that you find yourself.
The company says it is putting in place measures to ensure stable electricity. However, it will take time.
You know, so it was quite an unpleasant situation for us, managing a situation like that. But cable faults do happen. There are ambient conditions that may happen, even heat, because they are buried in the ground. Even heat can cause all of these things. Ingress of moisture can, affect that. And most of these cables also have had some joints that haven't already been prepared some time past that could also affect in the event that now the temperature is quite high. So that the temperature is quite high, and it means that there's a lot of cooling effect from our ACs and all that. It means power consumption or the capacity has also gone up. All of these things can cause a lot of damages within the system. So he would continue with that. We may come back to the way forward and all that, and we'll see how best we can attempt to solve the situation.
For JoyNews, Nana Addo, Kumasi.
Let me take you now to Tamale, where President Nana Addo has called on newly sworn-in assembly members of the Tamale Metro Assembly to help change the perception where citizens continue to view Accra as the primary destination for resolving their issues. He mentioned that the instinct of the ordinary citizen still leans towards seeking solutions in Accra for matters that should ideally be addressed at the local assembly. The president made these remarks in a speech read on his behalf by the Northern Regional Representative of the Council of State, Zunglana Mohammed Tahiru, during the inauguration of the 9th Tamale Metro Assembly.
59 members were sworn into office, comprising 41 elected and 18 government appointees. The assembly members then elected assembly member for the Dakwema electoral area, Fuseni Okasha, as the presiding member. He pulled 53 out of the votes cast. The Zonglana Mahmudu Tahiru said the assembly members are expected to help deepen the local governance system.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Constitution spells out the process through which we should decentralize governance in the local level. After 3 decades of its promulgation, this remains very much a work in progress. The instinct of the average citizen is still to look towards Accra or their member of parliament for things that fall within the remit of the district assembly. I am expecting that you will be part of the team that finally change the status quo and deepen the local governance and decentralization to enable the citizens have access to basic public services in their district rather than demanding for such services from Accra.
The mayor of Tamale, Sule Salifu, said with the caliber of assembly members elected, he was confident of the wealth of diverse ideas they will bring to bear.
Honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, this occasion marks a new chapter in our city's history as we come together to celebrate the birth of the 9th assembly of the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly that is to be inaugurated today, and which is a formidable one because it is characterized by representatives from all walks of life, from different backgrounds, professions, and perspectives across. This kind of diversity will fuel our strength as we tap into the wealth of ideas, talents, experience that each one of them will bring to the table.
Now, the World Health Organization is blaming the alarming rates of maternal mental health disorders in Ghana on the lack of policies to protect such vulnerable groups. This comes on the heels of a study by the WHO, which indicates that about 50 to 57% of pregnant women and mothers in Ghana experience clinical depression during and after childbirth. 13% of this figure who experience severe depression end up committing suicide. Rejoice Semefakpesu has more in the following report.
About 10% of pregnant women and 13% of women who have just given birth experience some form of mental disorder, primarily due to depression. Some of these mothers are compelled to commit suicide in severe cases. According to the World Health Organization, about 50 to 57% of women in Ghana suffer from maternal mental health issues, with depression being the most common case. Lead consultant for the World Health Organization on Maternal Health Dissemination Project, Dr Promise Sefoga, attributed the prevalence of the disorder due to a lack of screening and policy.
So when a woman is pregnant, her body produces a lot of hormones that help her to go through the stress of pregnancy. Two of them we call estrogen and progesterone. So these hormones help to stimulate what we call feel-good factors in the woman so that she's okay to cope with the stress of pregnancy. After delivery, when the placenta comes out, the estrogen and the progesterone levels drop. But it's the same time that new baby stresses come up. So the woman who is predisposed begins to suffer anxiety, what we call postpartum blues, what we call perinatal depression, where she feels low in energy, unhappy. And the most severe form is what we call postpartum psychosis. Some of them get so severely depressed that they commit suicide. Suicide is just a sign of severe depression. In the very severe cases of postpartum psychosis, the woman feels that there is something about to happen to my baby, which is more terrible than the baby dying. And as a result of that sensation, they kill the baby. Unfortunately, our health system does not have provisions for screening. So from what I've said, these disorders can happen to anybody. What is needed is for us to pick it up early or pick the warning signs. Then we do very little to avert major complications. And that is what is lacking. In Ghana, for now, we do not do routine screening for pregnant women. As we speak, we have reviewed all the maternal and child health related policies by the Ministry of Health and the Ghana Health Service, and including the Mental Health Act of 2012, there are no provisions for maternal mental health. There is none. And so we are emphasizing the call. Fortunately, the minister has accepted the call and said the ministry is going to take that up. So there is no policy, which is why the starting point is to have a national policy that mandates the inclusion of mental health coverage for all pregnant and postpartum mothers in order to optimize their well-being and that of their newborns and children.
Speaking at the ceremony in Accra, the Minister for Health, Kweku Agyemang-Manu, said the government considered the issues a serious one and is considering drafting a policy that will provide a safety net for mothers struggling with maternal depression.
Maternal mental health issues can have significant implications for maternal and child health outcomes. To address these challenges holistically and globally, the WHO member states adopted and committed to meeting global targets of the Comprehensive Mental Health Action Plan 2013 to 2030 for improved mental health services to the people. Through this initiative, the government of Ghana has made several efforts to ensure the provision of high-quality mental health services to the population. And some of these include the Mental Health Act 2012, Act 846, and the Mental Health Policy 2019, provide the policy and legal framework for deliberate actions within the landscape. I wish to assure you that the Minister of Health will provide the necessary leadership and direction to ensure the full implementation of the recommendations of this report. Strengthening mental health system and ensuring that women have access to the support and care they need during pregnancy and postpartum period is a collective effort that requires all levels of society to provide high-quality, sustainable maternal mental health services. This is achievable with the right political commitments, the right systems and structures, development partner support, and citizens' involvement.
In severe cases of maternal mental health, some women end the lives of their babies. The growth, physically and mentally, of very young infants is likely to be affected by the actions of mothers with mental disorders. Prolonged or severe mental illness hampers the mother-infant attachment, breastfeeding, and infant care. Rejoice Semefakpesu's report, read to you.
Now, the chief of Abochie in the Kponkatamanso municipality, Nitei Kojo Amankwa Sune I, has appealed to the central government to hasten with plans to fix their wobbly roads. According to him, the wobbly roads in Abochie have caused deaths and serious health problems for his people. He said several pleas to get the government to construct the roads yielded no results, making life unbearable for inhabitants of the area. During the 2023 non-denominational annual Thanksgiving service at Abochie, Amankwa highlighted the negative impact the deplorable roads have had on the community. Nesta Kafui Ajoma has more from Abochie.
The Abochie annual Thanksgiving service was organized by the Abochie Divisional Council in collaboration with Abochie Council of Churches to appreciate God for his protection and provision during the previous year. It was also a forum to mobilize funds to construct classrooms for the existing public schools and further establish other public schools in suburbs such as Samko and Pure Oil. Amankwa expressed an outright displeasure with the response from government towards the construction of Abochie roads, although he believes they will be fixed someday.
Shaping the roads and constructing roads is capital intensive, which the two alone cannot do it. For this reason, we lobbied and we went so far to the government for help. But whatever we hear all the time is that it is in the budget, and very soon they will come to our aid. On this very note, I am taking it so seriously, appealing to the government that our oldies are dying due to the fact that whenever they are sick and they are being rushed to the various hospitals, they cannot reach there in time, and sudden death normally occurs. The same applies to the unborn babies. So many miscarriages due to the fact that when our parents are in labor, they cannot get to the hospitals in time. And for that reason, so many miscarriages. We are at the mercy of the weather. During the dry season, dust all over due to our deplorable state of our roads. When it comes to rainy season, don't talk about it at all because it's terrible. And this is all affecting health issues to mankind, especially my community, Bechile.
Niamankwa encouraged the people of Bechile to rally behind him so that they could construct the wobbly roads.
If we can gather here in one unity for a purpose, taking education into consideration, then why can't we now stop waiting for the government and come together and see how best we can take the bull by the horn and start doing something for ourselves, so that this state in which we find ourselves, and all the time we are complaining, we can start tackling it from the primary root. And I hope next year when we come here, we will not talk about any deplorable states of our rules anymore. I will say that with unity, we have done a lot.
The chief of Bechile called on all who care to rescue the perishing.
Our politicians here, assemblymen, municipal, to the highest level, Bechile community is appealing to you to come to our aid, for we are suffering. If it happens that you may not come, we will not be in the houses, but I will come there so that you see that we are really, really suffering. We know you can heed to our appeal, but to act to win, because we are definitely suffering. Please rescue the perishing right now.
Traditional authorities, politicians, the clergy and their congregations, as well as individuals in and around Bechile attended the 2023 annual Thanksgiving service. Nesta Kafui Ajoma reporting for JoyNews.
The Deputy Lands and Natural Resources Minister, George Mrekuduka, says the government is putting measures in place to develop mining towns in the country. Speaking on the sidelines of an event to outline the NPP flag bearer Dr Bawumias' vision for the mining sector, Mrekuduka explained that the Minerals Income Investment Fund has specifically been set up to ensure the economic benefit these towns bring to the country.
Build our projects that will in the future say that yes, the gold that we had in Takwa, the gold that we had in Aboadze, what did we use the proceeds for? So the Minerals Income Investment Fund, for example, is to build a museum, a mining museum in Takwa. That is going to be a very important edifice that people can point to. They are also trying to have some roads fixed for the people of Aboadze and Takwa. So in future we can say yes, this road was built by Minerals Income Investment, built by the royalties that we had from gold production. So it's important, but it's answering. The Minerals Income Investment Fund is seeking to answer the question of what do we have to show after the mining period. So we have to have something we call a bench that will seek to address that question. That yes, at the end of the day, we have been able to build so much. Goldfields has built a stadium for Takwa. Goldfields has employed few residents of Takwa. They've constructed roads for Takwa. I mean, Bogoso Junction to Damai. These are examples we would want to see as Ghanaians. That we get to a mining community, we must be excited that yes, we've gotten to a mining community. That's the future of this country.
And that's it for AM News on the AM show. But stay with us from now to 10 a.m. We're bringing you lots of conversations, starting with a news review with Dr. Asante and Benjamin Akakpo. Keep watching.